Hey guys, welcome to the shop. Now, it's early in the morning, my favorite time of the day. So, let's go in the shop and get started, because I got a lot to show you. This is the stand for my little grinder. It's two parts. The top just lifts off. It's got a couple guide pins that hold it all together. And I want this machine to be fairly level. I want to put some feet on it so I can raise it up off the ground to a little more comfortable working height for me. I mean, I'm a short guy. I'm 5'5", 5'6", and even this I think is a little low for me. So I want to raise this up and have the ability to level it, so I need to make some leveling feet. I've got some viewer mail that I think is really neat, and I've got an item that I purchased that I want to share with you. So I'm going to get this thing flipped over, I'm going to tell you my plans, and we'll get started. Alright, so the parts you see me cutting in the bandsaw, or in the power hacksaw, were just little pieces of stainless steel. I've got 3 cut so far, and I need to cut 1 more, and I think I'm going to try to part it on the shaper, so we'll go over and do that just in a second, because as far as I can remember, I've never cut any stainless on the shaper. But what these are is just feet. These are going to be what's set on the floor. This is a piece of grade 8 threaded rod, half 13, and I'm going to thread each of these holes in the bottom. This is a 1/4 inch thick, counting the washer. And I'm going to put some feet on this thing, something to raise it up off the ground and get it to a better working height, and the ability so that I have the ability to level this thing. Now, for leveling, 3 points would be better, but you know, we've got 4 here, and we're going to try that first. I can always come back in and put a third spot in it. So what I plan to do is put a 1/4 inch radius on the end of this half 13 grade 8 threaded rod. Take a 1/2 inch ball end mill and just make a divot in here that this radius will set like a pocket. Just so these feet, when they sit on the ground, are not, you know, fixed. This can pivot a little bit, they'll set fairly flat and give me at least a chance to get this thing level. You can see the bottom of this thing's fairly rusty. And I'm assuming that that's from coolant that run down on the bottom and caused some corrosion. So I'm going to have to paint that too, but we'll do that at a later date. Let's go over to the shaper. Let's see if we can part a piece of this off just for fun, and then we'll set these up in the milling machine and put divots in them and make the rest of our threaded rods. I can't think of one time that I've ever cut stainless on this machine, so this will be a first, and we're going to try to part this piece off. Now this is just one of the little pads that go on you know, that we're going to use for the bottom of our little grinder. So I'm going to bring you in a little closer and get you a better shot. We're just using an 1/8 inch wide blade. Hopefully this goes pretty smooth because I've never done it before. So I'm going to get you in a little closer and we're going to part this off. Alright, so we're just going to be feeding down the hand. And got a little cutting fluid on this thing, so hopefully this goes smoothly. Safety glasses on. Something like this, you know, a blade like this could break off and shoot across the room if you weren't careful. thousandths per stroke. Burr, but a pretty good finish. Let me show you. Not good you can see that, but it looks pretty good to me. Other than that razor blade there, but first time I ever cut stainless with this thing that I can recall anyway. And when I had this thing in the vise, had an equal piece of equal size on the other end of the vise. That way it doesn't cant the jaw when I tighten this thing down. That way I get a good even cross the jaw pressure on this thing to hold it good and secure. So it helps to pack your vice jaws. So I've got them all basically to the same size. You see me just mill them down. And I've laid out one, and I've set up my vice stop. Now this is just a shop-made vice stop, or work stop, whatever you want to call it. But these are super handy. You can buy these cheap, but I made one just for the experience. And in my 1/8 inch collet, I have an 1/8 inch drill bit that's hand sharpened. It's the only 1/8 inch bit that I have, so I hand sharpened it because it was completely dull. And we're going to be drilling into stainless, so the outcome of this could be interesting. And the only reason I'm drilling this first is because I don't want this 1/2 inch ball end mill to have to center drill. Now it is a center drilling end mill, but I don't want it to have to do that. So I'm just going to plunge to it, just the same depth on each one, then I'll come back and hit them with this end mill. Alright, for lube, we're going to try this anchor lube. It says it's good on stainless. Let's see how good it is with a Steve Summers hand sharpened end mill in stainless. A little deeper than that. Okay. Not too bad. It worked. We're just going to go down till we feel the resistance of the bottom of the hole and then stop. It's not critical that all these be the same anyway. Slowed down the mill a little bit for this big end mill. My table's locked. stainless is something. It's tough. It's just gummy. It likes to gall and Alright, so here's a little better look of what I want to happen. So we got our 1/4 inch radius on the end of this. Now the others won't have this little groove in it, but you get the idea. And they'll just be able to pivot. The 1/2 inch 13 rod will be holding up the weight of the grinder, and these little feet will be sitting on the floor, and it'll just allow me to adjust this, and these feet stay, flat on the floor. If this was welded to this and you tried to twist these, well, they'd be all over the place. And I just think that that this will be a better, a better option. Probably not completely necessary, but I want to do it just because. So let's go over to the lathe and put the rest of our radiuses on here, and then we'll work on the grinder. Alright, here's our tool. And it's just a custom ground tool. I bought this tool, in a group of tools, and it already had the radius ground in it, so that was a big bonus to find it. Especially, how often do you find the tool that you need? Rare, but I was happy to find it. So let's run this in and cut this radius. Tit off the end, and that one's done. Alright, so I've cut all my bolts, or my studs, into 4 equal length sections, and I need to mill a couple flats on them like you see here, just for a 3/8 wrench, so I can turn these without reaching inside the cabinet, so from underneath. And what I'm using is some collet blocks that was sent to me, and they were sent to me free. I didn't pay a dime for them. They were sent to me by Banggood, the same place that sent me that neat little vise, the little machine vise, the grinding vise that was so nice. But these are complete garbage. They sent these in a soft envelope, and they sent me a set. And look at that. I mean, I don't know if you can see it well, but I stoned them off, but you don't ship stuff like this in a soft envelope across the ocean. Any accuracy they had was lost in the voyage, I'm sure. And they didn't come with a wrench. Look at the grinder hop on this guy. I mean, really, really horrible quality. And I would not recommend you buy these. I was completely disappointed with them. They were free to me, but to be honest, it's pretty bad when you want to ship something back that was sent to you for free. They were that bad. But I'm going to show them to you because that's what I said I would do, and that's what I'm doing. But I'm not recommending that you buy this garbage. So there you go, my Banggood review. They're good for rough operations like this, I guess, but I wouldn't trust them for anything else. Save your money, buy you a good set. Don't waste your time with that junk. Alright, here's our studs and our feet. Some goof drilled out that hole to the wrong size. Now I gotta go behind him and fix it. Alright, so I haven't done anything right now, and that's not going to work there. And I just got a regular old carpenter's level here. And I'm just going to bring them all down to where they touch, or, you know, where they're close. It looks like this one needs to come down quite a bit. So this will be nice. You know, not only does it raise the machine up, but now I can manipulate its position. And it should stay fairly stable with this setup, but you know, who knows? At least my feet being, or my pads, where they're, you know, ball and socket, should stay flat on the floor, as long as they're not under any chips or any chips are under them. A little more level, and then we'll set the casting, or the upper casting on it, and get out the good level. This thing is really not that heavy. I would say 80 to 100 pounds. I was just going to pick it up and set it on there, but I'm going to set a bad example. I better use this. There we go. Alright guys, now everything's worked out exactly the way I wanted it to, except for one thing, and it's a really important thing. My feet work that I made exactly like I'd hoped. I can adjust level, and I've got the machine level. It's level in both X and Y. I started with the rough level just to get it in the ballpark, and then moved to the precision level. And it is right now precision leveled. But I ran into a problem that I had thought about earlier, but it just crossed my mind. I never really gave it the thought that I probably should have. And what I ran into is that this cabinet is just not sturdy enough to precision level this machine. Yeah, it doesn't rock anymore. It's stable and it's up to more comfortable working height, and I'm happy with that. But I noticed that if I put any weight, any real weight on this machine, that it goes out of level. It's just not rigid enough. I'm still happy with what I've done, and I would do it all over again, but it's not going to work out the way that I intended, or the way that I hoped. I hoped that I could level this machine, put it together, and then possibly judge wear based on level. At least get an idea. But that's not going to be the case. When I put the table on this machine, I can't assure that it stays level. Because of the fit between the upper casting and the lower casting, and the cabinet not being that rigid, there's just too many variables there. Now, I'm going to bring in and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, and you'll get a better understanding. Okay, now you can see that that bubble is in the center. It's level. But when I push, probably I'm guessing about 70 pounds on this thing, quite a bit of weight. I mean, you know, 3/4 of my body weight. cabinet flexes, and then it goes right back to where it was before. But when I add the table to this, it's just not going to work. So I'm going to have to find a different way to do what I want to do, but that's okay. It's just all part of the deal, I guess. Alright, so I got a gift from Tom Lipton, from Ox Tool. He sent me a bunch of stickers, and I'll show those. He sent me an unfinished machinist vise, which is really nice, and once I get me a surface grinder, I can grind this in, and it'd be a good project for us. It's missing, you know, the lead screw and all the little bits and stuff, but the body and the movable jaw is all here. It doesn't fit yet, but it just needs finished. He sent me a nice Norton stone. It's a well-used stone, but great for general shop use, and it's a good quality stone in an old case, which is really neat. I like that kind of stuff, man. Something that's got some history, and you know, I'm not the first person to use it. He sent me some parallels, or just plates actually, that you would use on a magnetic chuck. Now these are just bandsaw cut, and we can grind these in. We can machine them and then grind them in and have useful tools. We can turn them into, you know, anything that we like. Sent me the fly cutter that I use to you know, match all my feet for the little grinder that we just made. Sent me some silver solder, and he sent me a bottle of Anchor Lube, a big bottle, which I had 2 smaller bottles sent to me by Stan, the guy that does the Bar Z Summer Bash, but Tom sent me the big bottle, and I like this stuff. Sent me some just hardware, some guide pins and bushings, and some thumb knobs, which was great. So I really appreciate it, Tom. If you don't know Tom, go check him out. I don't know how you wouldn't know Tom, but if you don't, go check him out. The guy's, you know, serious, and he's a true professional, and does a great job and has a great channel. So Ox Tool, check him out. All right, now my buddy Jim sent me the universal vise, the universal grinding vise for that little grinder. Man, how awesome is that? I mean, I really don't know what to say. You know, it's brand new. It's never been used. This is not made by K.O. Lee. This is the aftermarket version. But to be honest, it looks as well made as anything that, you know, K.O. Lee makes. And this will allow us to grind custom cutters on that little grinder to, you know, exacting angles. It pivots, and you know, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 pivot points, so we can get any angle, compound angles, you name it, using this little thing. Just clamp your tool right in here and start cutting. So I'm really excited about that. And Jim also found basically a manual, more of like a brochure really, on that little K.O. Lee grinder that I got, the model BA860, and he informed me what this thing really is. Now, I had asked, you know, and got several good comments from you guys about what we thought that this was, and I didn't know, but now I do. This is called a headstock. It's basically another tailstock that with interchangeable arbors. You can have just a regular 60-degree center in this, set it up on the grinder along with the other tailstock, and have an adjustable one. That's what it is. Plus you can use it for grinding, you know, like horizontal mill end mills, saw blades, stuff like that. You can use it for grinding the teeth on those. So that's what it is. It is a headstock for that machine. So that was great to find out also. And I really want to thank you, Jim. I really appreciate your help. Now these are an item, this is an item that I bought. And I bought it off eBay, and I paid less than 30 bucks shipped to my door for a brand new set. They still got the original oil on them. It looks like rust. It's just oil. And these are small hole gauges. You use these to measure the ID of a hole. anywhere from 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch up to 1/2 of an inch. And I mean, this is a brand new set. Brand new set of Starrett small hole gauges. And I've wanted a set of these for a long time. I didn't have a particular use for them that for the reason that I bought them. I just wanted a set, to be honest, and I didn't pay much for them. I really got them at a really good price. And what pushed me to really start looking for these again is I seen that Stefan Gottswinter. If you don't know Stefan, look him up. He's really, really good. I mean, the guy's a true artist in the metal world, and he does great work. And he had posted on his Instagram a picture of I think it was a set of Mitutoyo small hole gauges that he had got. And man, that got me looking, and I went and I bought a set, and I'm glad I did. I got them cheap, and they're brand new. I mean, I can't tell that they've ever been used. I mean, even look at the plastic case. This has not been carried around in anybody's pocket or bumped around in anybody's toolbox. So I'm really happy about that. One more item. One more and we're done. My buddy John sent me a variable frequency drive. I guess that he didn't want to hear that phase converter for the milling machine and for the grinder, so he decided to send me a variable frequency drive. Now, how awesome is that? Man, I got some amazing viewers, I really do, that just want to help, and that's what they're doing. I mean, this kind of stuff, who has the extra money to go out and buy all this little stuff? So, thank you, John. I really appreciate it. I guess I'm going to have to read this manual, as bad as I don't want to, and set this thing up. And I really can't wait to use it. So, thank you, John. Well, guys, I think that's about it. And that was a busy day. And I really appreciate you coming along. And I just want to thank you, seriously, all of you, all my viewers, all my subscribers, my old and my new, and my patrons. I really appreciate it. You guys, like I say, are the channel, and I really wouldn't do it without you guys, so there would be no point. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. If you haven't, make sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking on my little guy up here and hit the bell for notifications. And as always, I'll see you next time.